Are you wondering how to become a public speaker? Recently, when I was at a seminar, we were sitting in the audience watching all of the incredible speakers. I was sitting next to someone I had never met before, and we started up a wee bit of a conversation. And they were sitting there absolutely in awe of these speakers. And they kept telling me how much they desired to be a speaker themselves, to become that motivational speaker, to use the stories in their lives of overcoming obstacles, pushing through struggles, and coming out on top, learning from all of those things that have made us who we are. The person sitting next to me wanted that more than anything. And I thought it was a little bit amusing, at least to myself, that they would sit there and talk to me about this, having no idea who I am and what I do. So these are all of the lessons that I shared with them that I'm going to share with you. First, we'll start out with the authority building secret. Then we'll talk about visibility hacking 101. And at the end of the video, we'll talk about taking impactful action. We want you, your message on that stage to inspire others. That's the secret today, so let's get into it. So the first thing you have to do if you want to become a motivational speaker is to define your area of expertise. I know you might be sitting there thinking, but I want to motivate people. I don't need an area of expertise. Well, yes, you need to understand what your origin story is. You need to understand what brought you to this place of being an expert in something. Why should people listen to you? So what you need to do is tell me the story. Tell me in the comments below if you want to, but tell me the story of what makes you the expert. What makes you someone that I should be listening to? What are the mountains that you have climbed that you can help bring your people up? What are the obstacles that you've pushed through and overcome? Once you know who you are, I then want you to dive a little bit deeper into understanding who your ideal audience member is. I did this exercise with a client recently, and they were going through and coming up with a huge variety. They just brain dumped every single possible audience they could think of. And we realized that that was their problem. Instead of focusing narrowly on who it is you can best serve, they were trying to serve everyone. Does your experience speak best to those in corporate jobs? Or maybe you speak best to youth and young entrepreneurs. Maybe you speak best to women or specifically single moms in Utah. Who knows? But I want you to think about who wants to hear your message about the mountains that you have climbed and the journeys that you have taken to get there. Be very, very specific about who it is that you want to target. Because if you're trying to sell yourself to everyone, you're going to end up being bought by no one. So if you're trying to then market yourself to your more specific niche, all of your messaging can be better targeted, all of your graphics and your branding can be better targeted, and our customer journey into becoming your client can all be tied back to that very specific customer. So put your origin stories down in the comments. Let us know who you are, what inspired you to be part of this movement, what brought you to this video in the first place. We all have a message inside of us, and I think it's my duty to help you get that message out to the world. So let us know down in the comments. Visibility hacking 101. You need to be visible online. And it's more than just having a website with a couple pictures or a Facebook profile with a couple little funny quotes about you, or maybe an Instagram page that you share funny dog videos on. None of those are going to help you generate customers, people who are going to pay you to speak on their stages, people who are going to pay to hear your message. So what I want you to think about is your overall presence online. I want you to do an inventory. List out all of your social profiles and how do you show up. Give yourself a yes or no score. Yes, are they branded for business? Do people know that you are in business, what you do, and that they can hire you for that? Or give yourself a no if it's just places where you're sharing dog videos, if it's just personal connection. Social media, I hate to tell ya, is about business. It's not about building connections with your 8th best friend from 8th grade. Inventory those social profiles of yours. Then I want you to search for yourself. Go to Google, go to your favorite search engines and look up yourself or your business name, and I want you to see what shows up. If you're not showing up at the top of that, that's something we also need to address. I want you to go on to all of the search engines, including YouTube. Search yourself up, see what happens, see what shows up. Because when people who are organizing the kinds of events you want to speak at, when they're looking for speakers, they'll start Googling people. They might find you on LinkedIn, or maybe they'll find you in a YouTube video, but they're going to search for you. And you want to make sure that you have full control over that entire searched experience. So make sure that you're looking at all of your social profiles, any websites or landing pages you already have, any podcaster show episodes where you're on other people's shows. All of that, I want you to inventory and collect, because we're actually going to use those in another video coming up where we're going to start putting together what that web presence should look like, step by step by step. If you want to hear that series, definitely let me know in the comments below. And also make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. We are growing really fast, and I am so glad that you guys are along for the journey. And those of you who aren't, come on over. We're waiting for you. You've heard it before, practice makes perfect. So when you want to become a speaker, you actually have to practice speaking. Crazy idea, I know. There are 2 main ways that I recommend practicing your speaking. First is the old school way, which is to go out there, boots on ground, and go find yourself some speaking gigs. You're not going to ask for money though. You're simply going to speak to share your message. You can leverage that experience as well by making sure you get some video or some photo of you that you can use in your funnel pages, in your social content as proof that you are an actual speaker. So gather those free gigs, but make sure that they are tied as closely as you can be to who that ideal market is. Who are those dream audience members? So say for example, this client I was working with was really very narrowly focused into speaking with youth in athletics. They want to make sure that they are talking to potential Division 1 athletes. And we want to make sure that when we're speaking to that market, where do we go for free gigs? Well, we talk to high school athletes. We talk to the local rec teams. We talk to the rep teams. We talk to as many steps up to that ladder that our customer may be experiencing or our ideal audience may have gone through in their journey to be where they are right now, so that we can show that we've been on that journey and now we're going to take them to that next step, which is what our expertise does for them, which is what our motivation does for them. The second area I want you guys to think about, because it's never been easier before, is to start up your live show. Create regular live video content where you can engage with your people, where you can share your message in smaller bite-sized portions, where you're sharing that journey that you've been on. You're sharing those pieces of insight and inspiration. You're establishing your authority, and that also establishes your influence. When people see that, when people see what kind of message, and they're able to actually experience that message, they're going to want to come back for more. That's going to drive an audience, which can exist online. These can be audience members who want you to speak at events that they're going to, but it can also be those who are building those conferences and those summits and those stages for you to speak on. They can find you more easily and understand what you're about without having to do much digging, because you're creating that content, you're serving it up to them on a regular basis. Live shows absolutely changed the game for my business and for the business of my clients. And I want it to help you and your message as well, but we'll talk about that later on. The bottom line is, the most important thing I want you to remember when it comes to constantly creating that content, whether you're doing it on your live show or you're doing it traditionally on stages for free, just to start out with, just to get that experience going, is I want you to be consistent with your message. We want to constantly be tying it back to that ideal audience. Every message we create, every time we hit the stage, every time we open our mouths on stage, we want that message to be in alignment and to be consistent with that ideal audience we're trying to target. We're trying to get onto those stages. Consistency is important because if we don't stay consistent to who we're trying to talk to, our message is going to constantly be changing. That confuses people. Like, is this the business building person, or is this the French fries and Italian cooking kind of person? I don't understand because their messages are so different. We want to keep that message consistent and speak to as many audiences as we can that are all in alignment. Value, quality over quantity. That's the important part here. Let's talk about your live content. So what I want you to do, down below there's a link. I want you to download the live stream analysis. This is a tool that we've developed that'll help you visualize and understand how your live content can reach the best audience possible. What you're going to do is look at your current content, whether you're just pulling your phone up and going live, or you're creating a more regular built-out experience. I want you to go through this analysis, look at all of these different aspects of your content, and then give yourself a score at the end. If you don't like that score, if you think that score is rather low and you want to boost that up, if you want to fill out more spaces in that analysis, then I invite you to join us for a live academy. This is where we're going to show you how to build out the perfect stage to help you connect with your ideal audience and to ascend them up into your movement. Oh, it's amazing. So click the links down below for the live stream analysis, and in the meantime, check out one of these videos. I will see you again in our next one. And until then, remember, as usual, I love you. Be excellent to each other. Just go live.